in the quiet hills of Galilee lay a small village called Cana. Stone houses rested beneath the morning light, and the air carried the promise of celebration. It was a wedding day. Music filled the streets, laughter echoed between ancient walls. Families gathered, friends danced, and joy flowed freely as two lives were joined as one. Tables were filled with food, cups were raised, and the celebration stretched on, as weddings often did in those days. Among the guests sat a quiet group: Jesus of Nazareth, his mother Mary, and his newly called disciples. They did not stand apart. They blended into the crowd, watching, listening, sharing in the joy of the moment. Jesus observed the celebration with gentle eyes. Mary watched more closely. As servants moved among the guests, whispers began to spread. A problem had arisen, one that threatened to turn joy into shame. The wine had run out. For the family hosting the wedding, this was no small mistake. In that culture, it was a deep embarrassment, one that could linger long after the music stopped. The servants knew it. Anxiety crossed their faces as they looked at the empty jars. Mary noticed. She saw the concern in their eyes. She saw the jars standing silent and bare. And quietly, without drawing attention, she rose and walked toward her son. Mary spoke softly, simply, "They have no wine." Jesus listened calmly. There was no surprise in his expression, only purpose. He knew this moment. Though his time had not yet fully come, he would not turn away. Nearby stood 6 large stone jars used for ceremonial washing, ordinary, empty, overlooked. Jesus turned to the servants and gave a simple instruction: fill the jars with water. They did not question him. They did not argue. They obeyed. Bucket by bucket they carried water. Pour by pour the jars were filled until each one stood full to the brim. Jesus watched quietly. Then he spoke again. "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast." The servants obeyed, but what they drew was no longer water. Somewhere between obedience and faith, the ordinary had changed. The liquid they poured out was deep red, rich, full, alive. It had become wine. The servant carried the cup to the master of the feast, his heart pounding. The master lifted it, tasted it, and stopped. His eyes widened. Calling the bridegroom, he said with amazement, "Everyone serves the good wine first, but you have saved the best until now." Joy returned stronger than before. Music rose louder. Laughter filled the air once more. Cups were lifted high, and the celebration continued, unaware of the miracle that had just taken place. But some knew. The servants knew. Mary knew, and the disciples knew. They looked at Jesus with new eyes, with awe, with wonder, with growing faith. This was his first sign, and in that quiet moment, his glory was revealed. Mary smiled softly, her heart at peace. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, Jesus stood calmly among the crowd, unchanged, unpraised, unannounced. Then he turned and walked away, leaving the celebration behind. The wedding continued, but something greater had begun. For this miracle was not just about wine, it was about transformation. Jesus took what was empty and made it full. He took what was ordinary and made it extraordinary. He took what was meant for ritual and turned it into joy. And he did it quietly. No thunder, no spectacle, just divine power revealed through obedience. When Jesus steps into the story, lack becomes abundance, shame becomes joy, and the best is never gone. It is often saved for last.